Ram, Sita, Lakshmana entered a savage forest. Rama said to Lakshmana, Thamma, this Adivasi is horrible. It is not known what kind of animal are here. I'll go ahead. Let me follow you. Come from behind her, and let there be no fear of Sita. Lakshmana said, Anna, don't worry, I will watch day and night. And I will give him fruit and shallots. He decided to spend that night lying on a grass bed. Rama could not come to sleep what was going on in Ayodhya. Father is very sad. Could Bharat come? Who can take away the agony of our mothers? He spoke with Lakshmana about the same thing. Lakshmana said, Anna, we are already away from Ayodhya. Doesn't it matter if we worry about our well-being now? What can we do here for Ayodhya? Be thou faithful. May you be responsible for taking care of both of you, and rest in confidence. Quote. The next day the journey continued, and Pragya got close to the field. Someone in this shrine of the Gayamuna Sangamam appeared as a monastery. Lord Rama, see the ashram of the Bharadwaja sages. Let us find the sages today and stay here. Lord Rama made his acquaintance salute the Bharadwaja sages. Gracious Rama, you are in our ashram for the duration of your abode. There is no problem here, he said. I am forever grateful for their generosity. This ashram is very close to Ayodhya. Will the citizens of Ayodhya not come if we know what we have? When they are constantly coming, will they not be disturbed by the peace of their monastery? So we wanted to make it an ashram in Ayodhya. If you know of any such worthy area, ask Rama. The Maharishi Bharadwajas, for a moment, are about 10 yards away from the picture. There are many sages in the vicinity of that sage. You will end your stay here with beautiful giri, river and forest. The fruit is full of fruit, tamarind, good fruit flowers. The forest is rich with deer, peacocks and beasts. There are beautiful waterfalls and fresh water fountains. You in that serene place stay. After spending the night in the ashram of the Bharadwajas, Ram, Sita, Lakshmana resumed his journey. They crossed the Yamuna river from a wooden raft and reached the southern bank of the river. Seats were made of sapphire, perfumed lamina sticks. It was nice to see a big banyan tree and the bird life in it. Lord Rama said, the rishis refer to the most beautiful region. The beauty of the forest is eye-catching. Let us live here. Lakshmana picked up a good piece of timber at that moment and started building the Parnakutti. In a short time, a small ashram was ready. Rama, Sita, Lakshmana entered the house by worshipping the door of the leaf house. Lakshmana was always outside the leafy house and guarding. After Rama, Sita, Lakshmana crossed the Ganges and reached the ashram of the Bharadwajas, Sumandra returned with the cave. Returning to Ayodhya, there was no hovering of the people in Ayodhya. There was silence everywhere. He saw people standing in groups and talking about Dasaratha's rise, hand in hand, and the sudden changes in Ayodhya. Even more worrying for the citizens was that the royal king, Ramalayakans, had gone to the princess-grown Sita. On arriving at the palace, Sumitra came straight to Dasharatha. Dasharatha, who had suffered immensely in just 5 days, began to look very old. The end of his life is near. He was The queen was near Kausalya and took counsel. Dasharatha was excited for a moment when he learned that Sumitra had arrived. "Where did my children go? Where? How are you? Where did you stay in the jungle? How's their food system? How to protect them from cold, wind, rain, sun?" While here he rode in chariots. "What do you do now? Am I the cause of everything?" Minister Sumant said. "Maharaja is not as sad as you know." They left Ayodhya and crossed the Tamisanadi and reached Bhairapur. There he received hospitality from the Bedara king and crossed the Ganges and entered the Bharadwaja Munigal ashram. Now the Maharishi is advised to go to the film industry. During these 5 days, Rama did not encounter Sita Lakshman in the jungle. Did you go to the Yajna protection with Vishwamitra at an early age? They are happy with the sight of the river. Their niece Sita Devi is also happy. Sita Devi is happy because she is with Raman. Lakshmana is also happy with Rama's service. Rama saluted you. Bharat wishes to rule well. Don't worry. Sumitra consoled Dasharatha as soon as Rama informed him that he would be gone for 14 years. Dasharatha and Kausalya became very sad after hearing Sumitra's words. Dasharatha recalls the qualities of Rama. "It was because of me that Ramasita Lakshmana was suffering in exile." He was fainting again. Even after he was awakened again, Rama remembered his son as Rama. About Kausalya, "I don't look like I live very long. It is certain that I will see the end in sonhood. When Sri Rama was away from me, he came to me." Kausalya said, "Maharaja, do not play such a bad talk. Lord Rama has been in limbo for 14 years and comes back. You try to calm down." Dasharatha said, "Kausalya, it is certain that my son dies because he is away from me. There is one thing you do not know. To this day, no one has ever said that. The time has come today. I will tell you that. Skills. I was too young. Not my marriage. Hunting was my favorite hobby. One night on the mornings, I went out to hunt. I was expecting the beasts of prey in the vicinity of the river Saryu. Meanwhile, the sound of gurgling was heard from the river. Knowing that the animal was drinking water, I used the phonetic arrow. Believing that the arrow struck the water-drinking creature, he went to the river bank. Alas for that moment! He ran and looked. A Rishikumara fell to the ground and died on the bank of the river. The blood pierced the inflamed breast with an arrow pierced to the chest. I went up to my hand and said, "O Shikkumar, I thought something was drinking animal water. Forgive me." The etymology that I learned and practiced was in this way: the Rishikumara. That Rishikumara is a spiritual man. I am the son of a listener. My parents are old. He published his pilgrimage. That is why I was carrying them in their respective places and performing pilgrimage. Who cares for my parents now? Due to thirst, I came to the river to fetch water. I'm not afraid of dying. But who cares for my grandparents? I am the only one they have had in their old age. I am dying. Quote, Don't worry Rishi Kumara. Forgive me, it has suddenly ended your life. I will see your mother and father again. I slowly came to the place where his mother and father were. The father-in-law asked, Son, why are you late? Hearing his talk made me sad. My ankle shuddered. The story came to life. The talk was hard. I came to them and said, Rishis, forgive me. I'm not your son. Dasharatha Maharaja, king of Ayodhya. I have done great. Please forgive me. The parents were alarmed when they realized that the man who came to them was not a son. He served them with water. And when they woke up, they said, Where is my son? Explained what the sadness of hearing parents. Who? Dasharatha prince. What have you done wrong? My in the son, he asked. I experimented with the acoustic arrow, knowing that the sages were not drinking any water. That arrow killed your son. That is why the sinner who killed the boy was warned. When they were again fed and watered, the siblings angrily exclaimed, Sinner, did you kill our only son? What did you bring us? May the son of yours also die of grief. Kausalya, till now I have not told anyone about this. As soon as Sri Rama left me, I knew that my end was near. Any sin we commit will not go unpunished. I brought sadness to my parents. Their curse is being fulfilled today. Quote, the sad Dasharatha did not survive. Did Rama leave my company and me? Dasharatha, the son of Rama, the son of Rama, died and died. The grief in Ayodhya was compounded by the death of Dasharatha. Minister Sumantra, the queens and the citizens all lamented that the country was orphaned. Lord Rama shied away from Dasharatha because of the boon the Ayodhya people had heard. Was the queen responsible for her husband's death? Ayodhya became truly orphaned today. Maharaja Dasharatha died. Rama Lakshmana sighed. Bharat Shatrughnans are in the country of Kekaya. Who can defend the state like a sailor's boat? Even Minister Sumantra was worried. The kings of the Sura dynasty ruled just fine. Who knows what will happen today at Ayodhya of King Rila's Nada? Who defends true justice? Who advises us? The people were worried. Vasishtha Maharishi held an emergency meeting of ministers. Death was certain for the birth of Vasishthas, the Brahmanists, and Dasharatha Maharaja died prematurely. It is unfortunate that today none of his 4 children are in Ayodhya, but just sitting down after death. End of the great king should be a burial arrangement. The Maharani should be appeased by the Praja class. If you want to call Ramalakshman from Adavi, they cannot come. Bharat Shatrughan should soon be called from Kekayesha. Let us think of the next poems after they come. Let us first send the people to the country of Kekaya and call on Bharat Shatrughans. The Vasishthas suggested that the oil corpse be burned so as not to corrupt Dasaratha's corpse. Call the 5 angels and say, Go, now, to the land of Kekai, and tell the king of Kekaya my blessing. Don't tell them anything else. This is my wish. Don't tell them about Varichanam, Rama's Vanagama, Dasharatha Maharaja's death. Let them come here soon. The ambassadors set out for the country of Kekaya. The emissaries of Ayodhya quickly conveyed the blessings of the Vasishthas to the king of Kekaya, and said that the Guru Vasishthas had told him to send Bharat Shatrughans to Ayodhya soon. King Kekaya called Bharat in honor of the messengers. Bharat, who saw the messenger of God, was our father Dasharatha Maharaja well in Ayodhya. My grandmother Kausala Devi, Sumitra Devi, is my mother Kaikeyi all safe? What is my brother doing? Is Sita Devi well off? How is Lakshmana? A minister's citizen's wellness, he asked. I have had nightmares for some days when the ambassadors were silent. Something catastrophic seems to have happened or is about to happen. Tell me, in my Ayodhya, all are well. Isn't that the fear of thieves? There is no injustice happening, is it? Bharat asked impatiently. In Ayodhya, the princely states of Bharat, everything was well. The country is prosperous. But I want a great out of you. That is why you should come to Ayodhya immediately. So get out of there with us quickly. The ambassador told Bharat. Bharat listened to the words of the Vasisthas, and the speech of the Vasisthas, the Guru, was always valid. What may be wrong? However, the father-in-law informed the king of Kekaya that he would leave Ayodhya. Maharaja of Kekaya said, Bharat, the Gutas have come very quickly. There must be something very important. Go out and tell Dasharatha Maharaja his salutations and give him these gifts. Ashwavati of Kekaya Rajana sent her grandchildren to tell me my blessings to Rama and Lakshmana. Bharat went to Ayodhya with the ambassador without knowing the cause of his anxiety. Bharat prayed to the Lord that no one should be in trouble for the good of all on the way. After 5 days of travel, Bharat entered Ayodhya Nagar, thrilled when he saw his homeland Ayodhya from a distance. People were not walking through the beautifully decorated royal streets. There was no noise, though the houses were built. The door is closed. There was no sound in the temples. The Veda slogan is unheard of. There was no trading in the shops. Bhataka was summoned directly to the palace and the diplomats informed Bharata the Guru. Bharata greeted her mother and said, Amma, why is the silence in Ayodhya? No excitement. Everywhere there is a sign of sadness. Everywhere is filled with serious silence. Maharaja Dasharatha Nel. Nananna Ramanelli. Where is sister-in-law Sita? Why does nobody look? He asked impatiently. Son, your Dasharatha Maharajas have gone to heaven. There is an atmosphere of mourning for that. Death is not certain for the unborn, but your father, who has made many sacrifices and is a saint, is in heaven rejoicing. Quote, the people of the palace tried to console them with witchcraft. Bharat sadly said, woe is a tyrant. Has our father's life been taken away so quickly? Feeling that from the palace, Vashi took the sword and proceeded to kill Kaikeyi. Is it okay for Guru Vashi to calm down Bharat and kill Bharata, the prince and his angry mother? Now, you have poetry to do. Do not charge like this. Bharat says, Gurudev, is it okay for me to take the throne instead of my older brother? I am the one who needs to do poetry as an older brother's advice. Isn't it the job of Anna Rama to see the responsibility of the administration in the interest of the citizens? Regarding the mother, she said, it is plainly unjust in Ayodhya. Father, Rama went to his house as per your command, doing the worst poetry. He embraced the practice of paternalism as a religion. But did not Lakshman Sita go with him to Adwa? Aren't you sad then? What did they do wrong? Didn't the princess-in-law Sita Devi come to Ayodhya as the wife of Rama? Didn't you also suffer when they left Ayodhya and went to the forest? Why didn't you stop them? Yours is the heart of stone. If a maternal grandmother is a stone heart, what is the fate of the children? We have 4 children, all mothers equally. What happened to your sons? Your mind is the hardest. You are not the one who wants the best for anyone. If there is goodness in you, Rama Vanavasi, when did my family die prematurely? Because of you, Rama became a resident of paradise. Mothers became widows. Ayodhya became an orphan. Does Kausalya not know Bharat? The world knows whose name you are. My father did not die prematurely. I understand why they died. My father had to die alone. My father's soft heart was broken because of your sinfulness. Ayodhya was like Nandavana, became a cemetery today. Do you hear me, Father, and consecrate me? Will I accept it? Listen properly, come out of your delusion. I do not want Ramani's kingdom. I'm going wild. I am also in the forest, taking Mother's Kausalya Sumita. All the citizens will come with me. It is in this palace that is the graveyard, that you rule like a demon. I will not be here for another moment. Quote, when he saw the Kausalya and the cemeteries, he came to his feet and said, Mother, forgive me. Who can resist the sin of my mother? I'm embarrassed by this. I apologize to you for my mother's bad work. Single quote. Bharat felt less and less like a mother. Mum, I'm not the one who wants the state. Nanana Rama is the king of Ayodhya. I am not the one who wants the kingdom in the dream. If I am innocent, I want a state that owes it to Anna, but all that I have learned from Gurmukh is to perish. Let it be a sin of gossip, a sin of mockery of those who have done it, a sin of treason that does not protect the citizens. Let the guest who has come home be guilty of the sin of disrespect, the sin of betrayal, and the punishment of the most ruthless sinner in the world. Quote, Kausalya tends to Bharata, Son, do you not know your mind? Who will doubt you? The world knows you're impeccable. That was it. Now, what's the benefit of thinking about a flashy event? Do not be impulsive. Try to forget the bitterness that has gone on. At that moment Mantare came to Bharata. Bharat was furious with the man who saw her. The enemy seized the sword and rushed to kill all this evil today. Bharatani should stop Satrana and give me a handkerchief to kill Mantare. But Rama, who had already gone to the forest with his words, will not return. Nor does it speak to us. May the Lord punish them for what they have done. Quote, the Vasisthas performed 10 rituals by Bharat Shatrughan. There was a great deal of physical deeds, and every son was in the seat of Sri Rama, reminding him of Bhu Rama. What benefit does Kausalya have to slander Bharat Shatrughan's children? Maharaja Dasharatha, who had gone into exile with Rama Sita Laksha, was no more. All rights reserved. It is now important to be at peace. Don't worry, she said. 14 days later, he held a meeting. As the Vasishtha Maharshi said, the king desires, and you turn back to Ayodhya for 14 years and become the king of heaven. Decades needed. Bharata, who stood up immediately, was already a lion at that time. The Guru Vasishtha Bharat, I understand the sorrow like fire in your heart. But your father has died. His funeral is the first car to go.